Okay, joining me now is writer, model, and former Trump campaign staffer and the founder of the Exodus movement, Elizabeth Pipko. Thanks for coming in studio.
Thanks for having me.
All right, obvious question. What is the Exodus movement?
So the Exodus movement really started out as a genuine movement, trying to encourage American Jews to take a hard look at what's been going on in our country in recent years, as well as what the Trump administration has done for American Jews and for Israel, and to really encourage them to take an exit from the left and to stand up for themselves. And that really just blew up, and it became just full of really just supporters from across the country. And now we launched our PAC side of the organization, which is going to let us be a political organization and really just get involved in all the local races, the state races, whatever we need to do, where we can show that American Jews have a support system across the country.
Here's what I don't get when I ask this question whenever we're talking about whether it's Brexit or this. What about being Jewish would make someone say, well, I have to be a Democrat, right? If you're talking about the Old Testament, you're talking about the Torah, what in the Torah would make you say, I have to be a Democrat? And let me qualify it with this. If Christians said the exact same thing, the Democrat left would be screaming fundamentalism, separation of church and state. So I want to know exactly what it is outside of charitable efforts that we do voluntarily that Jews would say, oh, well, based on my faith, I have to be a Democrat.
I don't think it's a faith thing. I've never actually heard, because of the Torah, I vote Democrat. I've really just heard people say it's tradition. My grandparents were Democrats, my parents were Democrats, so I'm a Democrat. And I think it's super unfortunate. It's amazing what both sides have done for American Jews over the years. But to say that because Truman recognized Israel or because Johnson was in charge of the civil rights movement, I'm going to vote Democrat forever, it just doesn't really make sense to me, especially in times like today.
Okay, so with that, when you have people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, and they're not just obscure people anymore, right? They're the squad. The Democratic Socialists have taken a big chunk of influence of the Democrat Party, and they are the BDS movement. And as I said in the monologue, criticizing the Israeli government is a legitimate thing if you are criticizing the policies of the government, but we also know that's kind of a cover for their anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I mean, criticizing Israel has been okay. It's always been okay. We can, as a country, criticize any country, whether they're an ally or not. I think the fact that President Trump is so close to Netanyahu has been flipped upside down and made controversial. But as an American Jew, or just an American, I think it's important for the leader of our country to be close with the leader of one of our allies. Like, that's okay. And the fact that people can't see that what he's doing is helping Israel, helping American Jews keep a close connection to Israel, which is our homeland in one way, and flipping it into something controversial is ridiculously unfortunate and really just a tactic to, try to turn people against him and hope that he loses in 2020.
Do you think the squad will aid an exodus of Jews from the Democrat Party? Because I don't see anybody, even prominent Jews in the Democratic Party, have been very loath to criticize some of the things they're saying. When you have people chanting at a convention, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, that's not a criticism of the Israeli government. Right. That is a call to remove the Jewish people.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people like to keep things inside. We saw that in 2016. You don't know how anyone's going to vote, no matter what they tell you in person. But people have become more vocal. I mean, there's something that comes with, the Iran deal. Like, I think people started to turn during the Obama administration, but people inside were still, considering the fact that it came from a good place, or really we just might not understand what's going on in the Middle East. But to turn from that to now we're going to boycott Israel completely off the map. I mean, they want to destroy Israel. They want to take it off the map. They want to claim that it has, no legitimate reason to even be there. People are trying to make Israel out to be the enemy when it's been a close friend and ally for so long. I think American Jews are finally starting to see something is up and there needs to be a change made.
Do you think it takes an organization or a group like the Exodus movement or Brexit or whatever group? Because I think a lot of people who are not counted in the stereotype of the Trump support, they're afraid to say it, right? They're not going to say it. They're not going to say it in temple. They're not going to say it at family gatherings. Even if deep down inside they feel almost weird about it, it takes someone to say, hey, it's okay. There are others like you. Come on.
100%. I mean, I had to come out as a Trump supporter months ago because I was a model, not even just a Jew. People thought that I couldn't be a Trump supporter and be a woman or be from New York or be a model. And that was ridiculous. And I saw the reaction to that, the amount of people that just reached out to me saying, how did you do this? How did you keep it a secret for so long? How did you get the bravery and the courage to come out? And I thought that was so ridiculous. People must feel the same way as a Jew or an African American or so many other things. So if I can even help someone, 1% to feel a little bit more confident in coming out and saying, I support this man because of what he's done for us, and that's okay because I live in the, America, the United States of America. It's important for me to do that, and I'm hoping that it makes some kind of a change for sure.
I think organizations like this cause a debate and a discussion, right? Somebody's inevitably going to say something disparaging, and then somebody else is going to say, well, wait a second. Do we owe our allegiance to the Democrat? Why can't we think for ourselves? Groupthink is a bad thing, and stereotyping people. If you look at any group of people and say, well, they all vote this way, right? You're going to get rejected for assuming that everybody, just follows along. But the minute somebody breaks off and says, yeah, I'm going to be independent of the groupthink, then the people who claim they're not part of groupthink, lash out at the person who breaks off and acts like an independent.
Right, which they have done to me and so many of my friends, in this movement or just in the Trump world, which is super unfortunate. But like you said, it starts a dialogue, and that's where you start. I mean, President Trump, if he's done anything, he started a dialogue. People want, on Twitter or on TV to say all these terrible things about him, but I know that they go home and they think. Everyone wonders why there's people they can't understand, or why there's people who are so passionate about what he's done when the other side is, so polar opposite to that. So I've started a dialogue, if anything, and that's amazing, and I think we can do so much more with that. It's only been a few months, and to know that this dialogue has encouraged, young Jews across the country to at least take a closer look at what's going on, and to think for themselves is already a compliment.
I got to ask while you're here, the fashion industry.
Yes.
When did the fashion industry become so politically left where you have, I think the only fashion label that will dress Melania Trump is Dolce & Gabbana. She's a literal model. You can not like Donald Trump's politics and realize this woman has international, appeal, and the world is watching Melania Trump. When did this happen?
I don't know. I think it's been secretly happening for a really long time. And then I remember telling my dad, I'm scared to, tell my agent that I support President Trump, let alone work for him. And he was like, no, I saw a post on some model social media where she was, protesting Kavanaugh or something. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. We're allowed to be on the left. We're just not allowed to be on the right. So I felt it for so long. But till I was like, oh, I actually can't tell people, that's when I realized it was super serious. When I was working on the campaign, actually, I ran the volunteer center, and I ended up recognizing a fellow model in the volunteer center who had a hat on and sunglasses on and begged me not to tell anyone that I saw him there.
Wow.
So it's been going on for a really long time, and the way they treated Melania has been, just disparaging, not towards the Trump administration, but towards women, and I hope people can see that.